Welcome back. Now, we did talk in the last segment about, what the economy is doing to Nigerians and how tough it is to exist at a time like this. But there's also the other, probably most unspoken part of things, what it does to your mental health and, your happiness and your wellness as a whole. A lot of Nigerians are going through it financially, but also just psychologically and mentally, the task of just trying to keep going. We keep saying Nigerians are very resilient. I don't know whether that word is a compliment anymore, because these days resilience is probably killing a lot of people. Well, I'm joined here now by Chukuma Eze, who sells happiness, like he says. Thanks a lot for joining us. Yeah. At a time like this now, what do you tell someone who comes to you and says, I can't seem to find joy in anything? And it's a valid statement, isn't it? Things are really tough. People who were getting by even by whatever salary they earned are now having to get by that same salary with things 2-3 times more expensive, with families to take care of and all of that. How do you have a conversation with someone to still see some sort of reason to keep going at a time like this?
Go back to the little things, right? Try to find joy in the little things, because I think as a society we are too encumbered by, we're chasing, I want the house, I want the car, I want those are valid dreams, these are valid, wants and needs. But at a time like this, where that car that you plan to buy next month, your dollar, your naira has devalued and you cannot buy it and get, I would just suggest that just go try to find joy in the little things. Try to say, you know what, the car, I can't get it right now, but I still have my kids, I still have my wife, I have a girlfriend that makes me happy, I have a family that loves me. Try to focus on not just the little things, those things we think that are little, they're actually the things that matter. Your family, your wife, your kids, your community, your society, your health. If you can focus on the things that you have that are working for you, then you can now start working your way to the things that you don't have that you can now, get and then complete your job. But just find a way to find, joy in the little things and find joy within you. And then you can now say, okay, the problems outside can be solved, but the problems inside, I've been able to hold them, to take care of them and to conquer them. And then I think that's a good approach. That's what I use anyways. I guess
the question now will be, how do you find that balance? Because yes, you can find joy in the little things, whether when you get home or when you're with friends or whatever it is, but you always have to step out, right? And we all know now, the moment you leave your gates in Nigeria, everything is coming at you, whether it's you're trying to buy, whether it's just in being on the road in traffic, there's always something. So how do you find that balance, when you are being assaulted with all of the chaos and just economic issues and waiting to get back to your safe space? What happens?
Again, I'll say this life, you can't kill yourself, right? So you have to, again, take it one day at a time. However, because of the, like you said, assault on people's mental health in Nigeria, people should start taking cognizance of the fact that we are a traumatized people, we're a traumatized nation, we are dealing with a lot of trauma, some of us from our childhood, trauma. Society is traumatizing us, everything is traumatizing us. Every day you are, encumbered by a barrage of bad news. So I would say, again, protect what you consume, protect your mental health, but then seek help. Go to events, go to places, go to church if you are religious. Try to find good places where you get to feel like sunlight. If you need help, go to people that can give you help professionally. Find a community, be part of it, and just, it will help to lessen the blow of, the impact, of all these, things that are coming against you.
I mean, I don't have any data. I don't know if you do as well, but I know we hear a lot about how Generation Z seems to be the most affected in times like this. They're at an age where they're still trying to figure life out. Some of them are not even gotten jobs yet, just out of school, and all of this is going on. I mean, I don't know, you probably interact with them a lot more because of the work you do. What are some of the things you hear from, that generation? Because this is a generation that is visibly changing the world globally. We can see a lot of what's happening with Gen Zs, whether it's with politics, with technology. And in a country where, the youth population is close to 60-70% from what I hear, it means that mass exists and is, whether we like it or not, the future of this nation. But at a time when they're trying to find themselves and the economy is going through this, what kind of interactions do you have with people in that generation, and what do they need to start looking at? Because someone who's probably 19, doesn't have a wife to go back to comfort, they might be single, not even a girlfriend. In that age, what is the sort of things they should start, looking at and believing in?
Okay. Well, first of all, the generation Gen Z, it might be a little bit shocking that I am. I was born on the cusp of Gen Z, so I can say I'm actually Gen Z because I was born the year it started, even though I look older than my age. Yeah. And part of the reasons why we look is, again, pressure. Gen Z, we are under. It's like we are in a pressure cooker. Our generation is under pressure, and there are many factors. Number one, chief of them is social media, because with social media you get to see people who are living. There's a lot of comparison, and that the younger generation, they have self-esteem issues, so there's a lot of comparison. Ada is flying to Maldives, her sugar daddy is taking her, this guy is living in Lekki, he's doing well, so it makes you feel, it affects your mental health, makes you have low self-esteem. And another thing is loneliness, because again, social media, people don't go out to play anymore. People don't really have, some people are socially awkward, they can't even have interactions with people, they rather text. They will meet that fine girl they've been talking to on phone. They can't even talk anymore because social media is redefining the way we communicate. So people are lonely. People, even in places like Lagos, people are lonely and they don't interact. And some of all these things are helping to, put more pressure, especially on the Gen Z. Then the economic factors. Let's be honest. Nigeria's unemployment rate, it's over 35%. It's growing, and the youth, most of them, Gen Z, half of Nigerians. The median age in Nigeria is 19 years, Gen Z, and they don't have jobs, and all of this. And when you are young, you are having, the fear of missing out, you are having low self-esteem, you don't have money, and then you are jobless, you are hopeless. These things actually dampen the optimism of this generation. And what I can say to them is, don't let hope die, and then just reorientate yourself, right? Because there's a lot of pressure. Parents these days, man pressure. Don't you see that person? Don't you see that person is riding a car, is doing this? So there's a lot of pressure on them. Please don't pressure yourself. If others pressure you, don't pressure. Like me, I'm taking life a day at a time. So he's married. He's riding a Jeep. Take it easy. Reorientate your mind. Take it. Just know that it's a process. Yes, Nigeria is frustrating us, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. Take it easy. As the day comes, just put in the work. Make sure that you put in the work. You are honest, and then slowly just reorientate. Because if you set too high goals, if you set goals that are too high to attain, it will depress you on the long run. But if you set small steps, let me graduate first, let me get a job, let me do this 100K job, let me do this 200K job, before you know it, and then you can live a happier, more fulfilled life because you are taking things step by step. It's not easy, but we just have to take it, step by step to be able to, so that we don't colo in this country. A
lot of the older generation have called Gen Z weak, because they will say, as long as life has been, things have been tough, especially in Nigeria. There's never really been a time where Nigerians were feeling the most prosperous. There's always been complaints, whether it's under the military, which were really, really crazy times. And do you think that's a valid way to look at things, to say the generation that's sort of blooming now, Gen Zs, are not as resilient as the other generations are, and all of this talk about mental health is just a cop-out, to sort of make excuses as against facing things head on?
The honest truth is, Gen Z is not as resilient as our fathers. Our fathers, we are like the link between the old generation, before, quote unquote civilization and urbanization, right? So they had that tenacity and that that grit, and
nothing will be handed to you.
Yeah, nothing will be handed to them. But then when they started raising children, millennials were softer than their parents. Now millennials started raising children, Indomie generation, So these children grow up entitled, right? Because most of Gen Zs, they grow up where, no, don't beat them, I'm not saying you should beat your kid, but don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. So they grow up really entitled. But at the same time, with social media and every other thing, it's now adding more fuel to fire, right? Because with the soft upbringing that they have, where they feel like everything should be handed to them on a platter, coupled with the fact that they are now undergoing the pressure of social media and the modern day generation, where everybody expects them to be perfect and have everything already, it's now making them seem very weak. I think they can find their way back, but the upbringing and then the current circumstance they found themselves, it's also contributing to making them seem weak. Yeah. But ultimately, they are not so weak, but because they are the ones that, when they want to set everywhere ablaze, they will set everywhere ablaze. So they are not so weak as we think they are. Yeah.
I've heard this term Afro-optimism.
Yeah.
What is that, and what does it look like in a space like this, especially something uniquely African maybe? And how is it supposed to help us, out of this, if at all?
Okay, so in my business of selling happiness, I run Happy Vibe services and I've made calls to over 35,000 Nigerians. Just phone calls that makes people happy. I'll call your mom for you, your dad, anybody, and I'll make them happy on your behalf. You are fighting, I will settle it. So after doing it a few thousand, many thousand times, I realized that, people need things to make them happy. A simple call can make someone's day. You can change the trajectory of someone's marriage. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to create an event that people can come to and they can escape from the barrage of problems. So they can find escape. I did an event 2 years ago about a link up, and people came, and people were playing, see adults doing bouncing castle. We took them back into their childhood, and for a day they escaped, the pressure of working and doing all this hard work every day, traveling and all of that. Then this year we're now doing Afro Optimism, which is Nigeria is the most optimistic country in the world. We're not the happiest people.
You go better.
I go blue. You go better. My mother lost my father when I was just a year old. But that optimism that I'm going to train these 4 children and one day they're going to train me back. That hope is something she never lost. And today I'm taking care of her. So it was a good bank. She banked on that hope. So that optimism, we want to take it and package it and sell it to the world, not just to Nigerians, but from that optimism we have. Because there are some countries, surprisingly, where things are quote unquote working, like Japan and other places, but they're not so happy. The suicide rate is also off the roof. So humanity needs optimism. And Nigerians have it in bulk, because no matter what the government does to us, we are still optimistic. So we are packaging Afro Optimism as an event where people come, receive mental health therapy from experts, from psychologists, from therapists, and then they can get healing and all of that. They can heal their inner wounds, their traumas. And that's an event we are having. They will also play, do bouncing castle, shoot water gun, eat rice and everything. And then it will continue month after month and all of that. Yeah.
So it's a monthly thing?
It's going to be a consistent thing, monthly, bi-monthly thing, where people can come and have a community, because that's another thing that affects people's mental health. Our parents had strong communities. I saw your picture, CWO, but you have a Catholic,
this CMO.
Those Catholic men, they come together every month or every week and they do this. They had strong ties. Gen Z, they only have phone. They don't have the same. But if we can create communities where young people can gather, play, have fun, meet each other, it's going to help with their mental health, just like it helped our parents, yeah.
Is it possible to, you think, stay happy without money? Because they always say money cannot buy happiness. A lot of people are saying, well, give me first, let me find out.
Yeah.
Is it possible to stay happy in a time like this without financial freedom or like money in your hands?
To be honest with you, money helps, enhances, it helps make you happier, but it's not the base. I was raised in a family where I watched my mother do honest work, honest living, honest work. It wasn't so much, but she was an honest woman. And that helped me to know that, hey, if you really want to make it in life, just do honest work. I might do a job and get 10,000 naira, and somebody might do Yahoo and get 10 million. And I'll be happier than the person, because at night I sleep with my peace of mind. So peace of mind is everything. I rather have 10,000 naira and have my peace of mind than I have 10 million and I'm running from kidnappers or I'm wanting to jump off the roof. So it is possible to be happy without a lot of money. You shall need some money to oil to cook food, because if you no job, you won't be happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ukuma. Good luck with everything. Looking forward to this Afro Optimism taking root. What's your handle so people can just find
Afro Under Optimism.
Afro Under Optimism. Check him out and be a part of trying to be happy, because we all need it.
All right.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Don't just stand there teasing me. Now it's time to show and prove.